of it. Well, if it's a spell, that should be an easy fix. Misty looked to me to reverse the spell, but I wasn't about to try. The last time someone spelled someone in the bookstore, it hadn't ended well. Plus, half the time, my spells ended in disaster anyway. I didn't need to turn Aunt Thelma permanently into a frog. Sensing my hesitation, Misty dropped the towels, pulled out her wand, and aimed it at my aunt's chest. I squeezed my eyes shut, not wanting to watch in case things went awry. Misty cleared her throat and proclaimed the general counterspell. Tixie! A small whoosh of air sailed toward Aunt Thelma, but that was all I heard. No gasps, shrieks of panic, or general chaos, for once. Slowly I opened one eye and then the other. Aunt Thelma stood before me, looking the same as ever. Well? Misty asked my aunt. Her wand was in her fisted hand on her hip. Aunt Thelma opened her mouth to speak. I crossed my fingers. Ribbit? The deep baritone sound rolled off her tongue. Aunt Thelma's shoulders dropped. My heart sank. What does that mean? I asked the duo. I don't know. It could be a curse. Misty's brow furrowed in concentration. A line was forming at the register again, and an employee called to Misty. I'll be back as soon as I can, Misty said before turning and leaving. I looked to my aunt. How long have you been croaking for? Aunt Thelma held up a finger in response. 1 day? I guessed. I hadn't seen my aunt this morning at the inn she owned and I managed, so I supposed it was possible she had woken up this way. She shook her head no. 1 hour? I tried again. Aunt Thelma huffed and walked over to the register, where Misty supplied her with a pen and paper. I trailed after her. Aunt Thelma scribbled a reply. Just now, was her response, followed with, I'm going to the tea shop. Good idea. Clemmy will know what to do. My aunt's best friend sold plenty of herbal remedies at her store, Sit for a Spell. Maybe she had one for frog curses. If not, I was sure she'd know how to fix it or who to call. Good luck. I'll check in with you in a bit. I offered a tight-lipped smile. Aunt Thelma left with a nod and a croak. I watched her walk out the door and hoped Clemmy really would know what to do. Did you say curse? What do you know about them? Percy, Mystic Inn's resident poltergeist, whispered in my ear. His cold breath caught me by surprise. I slapped my hand on my heart. Geez, Percy, you have to quit doing that. I took a moment for my heart to steady and take in the ghost's transparent form. What are you doing here? I rubbed my chest with the heel of my hand. Percy's random pop-ups were honestly giving me chest pains. I was convinced he'd be the death of me yet. Percy wasn't paying attention to me. He'd floated over to a bookcase and was scanning the spines. His eyes trailed up and down as he read the vertical titles. I walked towards him. What is up with you? First, Percy started dressing up in bow ties and sport coats, and now he was spending more and more time away from the inn. In fact, I'd never even seen him at the bookstore before. Usually he only scared the daylights out of me at the inn. Percy ignored my question. I need to find out about curses, and fast. What do you know? Percy rounded on me. The poltergeist's eyes bore into mine. I leaned back, looking at Percy as if I could see right through to his brain like I could the rest of him. But whatever Percy was thinking, he wasn't willing to share it. Come on, Jelly, I don't have time. Percy looked pained. Percy, what's going on? Are you okay? I reached forward as if I could lay my hand on his arm to comfort him. Oh, never mind, I'll ask someone else. Percy huffed and disappeared in a blink of an eye, leaving me standing there befuddled. Well, okay then. I darted my eyes from side to side and wondered if anyone else, like Misty, had witnessed Percy's odd behavior. But Misty's attentions were elsewhere, and everyone else seemed lost in a good book or in their own worlds. I blew out a sigh and wondered why Percy was researching curses. And then I thought of Aunt Thelma and wondered if the two incidents were somehow related. As much as I wanted to dismiss it, I couldn't deny the uneasiness that began to creep through my veins and settle into my bones. Had Percy somehow managed to curse Aunt Thelma? Percy was mischievous, but he'd never messed with Aunt Thelma a day in his afterlife. But maybe he knew who had? That was more likely.